Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Bitcoin unfortunately still moves in this ascending wedge, but I have some hope that today we might see a little bit of volatility. Today we've got the PPI data release and also core retail sales and core PPI happens or comes out at 8:30 a.m. US or Eastern time it is. And that will be quite interesting. It typically generates some volatility, normally not as much as, for example, CPI, but it can still generate some volatility and maybe finally push us out of this sort of wedge pattern range here. I changed my wave count slightly in the last video just to reflect the price movements here, just to reflect changes and to make it a little bit more understandable what's happening here, because it was really difficult without this count to explain what's going on here. But even now, I mean, it needs to move. Otherwise, within these ranges, it often doesn't really make sense to do micro counting, because in the end, you often only know afterwards when it broke out. In the end, those counts are designed for you to understand the validation points, invalidation points. When do we move from one scenario into another? Which wave needs to break, or above and beyond which point does the price need to go to invalidate this scenario, and what does it mean for the price? That's what I try to explain here. For example, here it is that we moved up in this third wave for Bitcoin, which is normally the strongest one, the most impulsive one, and we could have finished this here at the wave 5 peak at 21,450. And a good possibility is that we are now finally in this wave 4 correction. Thought we might have been in there yesterday already. The problem is that if I count this, I could count it as an ABC, but it would be a running flat. That is not that frequent in a wave 4. I mean, it happens, but also then looking at the size of the wave 4, it's just too unreliable to really, put it on the chart. I'm like, if we see a wave 4 with the length of a wave 3 like this, it should certainly normally go into this green support area. I mean, nothing is for definite, for sure, in these markets, but it's all about likelihoods, okay? So yeah, it will be interesting. The other possibility is obviously now, and that's sort of how I have it on the chart, but it hasn't really changed since the last video, and the chart hasn't made any progress, probably just waiting for the US market today. That we are now in this wave 4, and that the wave 4 could either unfold here as an expanded flat pattern, so that we came down in this A wave, moved up in a B wave, because it looks very much like a 3-wave structure, right? And that we could come down next in this C wave to the downside, would be impulsive. At the moment, I don't see this has started yet, so it's not really, it's moving sideways, The other possibility is, of course, again, and that's annoying if that's the case, because it would just move sideways again, if this move here is going to become a triangle. But in the end, it's probably either going to extend out or it's going to become something different, because if it looks like a triangle, I mean, it could become one, but often just sideways, and then some sort of messy price action, which will eventually create a different pattern. So this is obviously micro counting, so don't treat it as if it couldn't change anymore. But yeah, this is a possibility that in this kind of wedge or range, we are now moving as a wave 4 triangle. The reason I always bring it up, because a wave 4 could easily be a triangle. But then again, the problem is, unless it's really long, it's really not substantial enough to form a green wave 4 here. I mean, look at the length of the third wave. You want some decent movement here, also in this wave 4. Something more substantial. This is not enough yet for me. Of course, it could be the wave 4, but then again, we're looking for high probability setups, high probability scenarios, and if it's not high probability, it wouldn't really be responsible to really, tell you that this is definitely it, and it's never for sure anyway, because these markets are uncertain. But yeah, the view remains that should we break above this B wave high at 21,560, we will probably have completed this green wave 4 of some sort in here. Now probably will have to go back to this running flat idea, A, B, C, if we break out above this. But to be honest, I need a decisive breakout. Yeah, I don't need another, small high here, because we're now in this range. I mean, this can, this doesn't mean that wave 5 has started. It could become an ending diagonal, but again, that is unreliable. It doesn't really give you a lot of information. It's hard to count as well, because there are so many possibilities and so many overlaps. So ideally, to get a confirmation that the wave 5 has started, I need something like this, you know. We wanted to break out here out of the channel, retest from above, and see a first initial impulse to the upside. If we break below the wave A low down here, which is at 20,610, then it would indicate that this white count is correct and that we are probably going to come down in an expanding flat here in the wave 4 into the green support area, which is based on Fibonacci retracements of the third wave. So we would most likely get into this region between 18,920 and let me think. Oh, I might need to move the box slightly now with the wave 3 reset. So it would be between 18,920. That's how it was before. It's sort of between 18,900 and 18,920, plus minus a few dollars, because you get inaccuracies between exchanges as well. And 20,270, which is between the 50% retracement and the 23.6 retracement. That's where I would like to see the price in. That would give the chart a lot of reliability, and it also would make it quite clear how the counts work out, because we can count it quite easily. And one more thing, maybe the target for the fifth wave. And again, only please look at this target as realistic if we break out to the upside, because if we continue to move in a diagonal and the entire wave 5 in green is going to complete in a diagonal, then this target is not going to be achieved. Now it depends on how low we go in the wave C. Again, giving a target without the wave 4 in place is difficult. I'm just going to put it now at the lowest point that we have here so far. And that's at around 23.7. That's the first key target here. Okay, that's my update about Bitcoin. Maybe it will get a bit more volatile later today. I'll keep you updated. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.